Oh my god. You've got to be kidding me. Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Cake Muncher and welcome back to Cobblemon. In the last episode, if you guys remember, we worked on a little bit of automation up there. If you remember, we set up a miniature start of a great ball farm, and I'm going to work on that during this episode too, during a little time lapse. And if you remember, at the end, we encountered the legendary Pokemon Regice. Now, unfortunately, we weren't successful in catching this Pokemon. As you can see, it struggled itself to death. However, that doesn't matter because, well, it does matter, but at the end of the last episode, we got something that made up for it, which is this. This is the Lightstone. It is an item that lets us summon the legendary Pokemon Reshiram, which is really cool, and I'm really excited about that. But, as it stands, we don't really have a lot of resources to allow us to do that. You can see here, we've got a handful of different Pokeball types, but ultimately, I don't want to lose another one after we lost that Regice. So, my thought was, I wanted to do a little farming between episodes, and you can see right here, I have one of 3 Wither Skeleton Skulls. Now, in vanilla Minecraft, that's really good. You need another star to get a beacon, you want a beacon to just, do some progression stuff. However, in Cobblemon, it's even more useful, because in Cobblemon, if you look right over here, you type it in, a Master Ball. Now, a Master Ball is made with 2 netherite ingots, 2 shulker shells, and another star. So, we need to kill at least 1 Wither to get a Master Ball. And that's pretty important, because I really don't want to lose another legendary, like I said a second ago. Now, on to the actual video itself. Today, after last time, I kind of want to do a little bit of low-key stuff. So my thought was, I want to do something to do with building. And we received a comment, and I'll put it up here, from Penny was here. And they said that we should work on changing the ruins that we found last time into kind of a habitat for ghost Pokemon, and I really liked that idea. It's something that I think will just, add a lot of character. It's something I really liked about Pixelmon back in the day, was you were able to kind of just let your Pokemon roam free. And Cobblemon has something like that too, through this block. It's called the Pasture Block. Essentially, it functions kind of like a PC, but you can put Pokemon in it and they'll just kind of wander. I think that's really cool. And so the plan is we're going to go transform the ruins into a little bit of a ghost Pokemon habitat. And once we do that, we're going to go catch a bunch of ghost Pokemon, because as it stands, we only have the Spiritomb in our party and 1 more Spiritomb. So my thought was, we'll go get this whole thing turned into a nice ghost habitat, and then we'll spend the rest of the episode going and hunting for cool ghost Pokemon. Additionally, like I said, I am going to do some improvements to the Apricorn farm. After doing a little bit of reading up on how the crafter works, the Minecraft crafter, I just completely was using it wrong. It turns out that because of the way that it works, it can only insert items in a specific order, and you can't save a crafting recipe. So the way that this is going to work is that I'm going to I saw a rough design that I'm going to try and change a little bit, but I will end up, once I make it, I'll put the person who I saw make the original design in the description, and I'll put a little thumbnail of theirs on when I do that. But yeah, you can see here, I talked about last time an Ender Pearl stasis chamber, and I built one here just to be safe. You can see it's really tall, and it clearly does not need to be. But yeah, essentially what this is it's a hole in the ground with some soul sand bubbles and an Ender Pearl floating on top. The way that this works, as I understand it, is that the game wants to keep track of where the Ender Pearl is, so it knows if it needs to teleport me. However, what that means is that it needs to keep these chunks loaded, so that the game is constantly thinking about, hey, this Ender Pearl is still here. What that means, though, is that we can keep this farm running. You'll see, too, the farm isn't running right now. That's because I disconnected some of the redstone, because I wanted to change some of these multicolored apricorns into just the red and blue that I need for the Great Ball. Because my thought is that once we get that going, we can set up multiple other color apricorn farms, just so we don't have to, end up with a whole bunch of miscellaneous apricorns just for a Great Ball farm, because it may end up making the auto crafting situation kind of difficult. So, without much further ado, I'm going to head over to the ruins from last episode, and I'm going to start converting it into a nice little ghost Pokemon habitat. It's already kind of spooky, so it's just about halfway there, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, I'm going to set up some more decorations, put down that pasture block, and then I'll see you guys when I'm done. Alright, and just like that, I've got a little bit of decoration done. You can probably see that I didn't have to change too much, because I really did like just the original aesthetic quite a lot. The biggest thing I did is I moved some of the candles from around these little like tomb areas to some of the corners to help light it up a little bit. I think I may have done too many here. Let's just move these guys. Probably turn this down to a group of like 3, because I feel like 4 is really bright. Yeah, I like that. Then I'll do like 1, 2. Then I'll put one in this corner too for good measure, just so we don't get any hostile mobs spawning here. But yeah, you can see the biggest changes I made is I added these little soul lanterns, because I like the blue glow that they put off, or the blue light. The light itself isn't blue, but the lights and the lanterns, I guess, are blue, if you know what I'm talking about. I think that it was all in all just pretty good. I did hide the little pasture block in this tomb. You can see there was a skull here. I hid the pasture block in this tomb, and I did let the spirit tomb wander around free for a little bit. It did faint. I don't know how. Yeah, I'm gonna go start on that ghost Pokemon hunt, and I will see you guys back after this quick montage. Hey, buddy. When'd you get in my boat? You're free. The rest of your family. Alright everyone, we are back. That trip took a lot longer than I thought it would. I died a handful of times. But yeah, I ultimately found some pretty cool ghost Pokemon. And you guys won't believe it, during my trip, I got distracted looking for ghost Pokemon and found some shipwrecks. Well, in those shipwrecks, I found some treasure maps. One of them I'd already dug up, and there was nothing in there. And so I buried it back and was like, whatever. But I found a second one while I was exploring. And upon digging it up, I found another one, another Regice tablet. I'll put in the clip here of me finding it. Oh my god. You've got to be kidding me. Yeah, but it's ridiculous. I feel like I don't deserve a second shot at it. Because it was just such... it was such a mess last time. But yeah, I will take it. And then I went into the Nether to explore, because I was like, oh, you know, there are Soul Sand Valleys in the Nether. Probably ghost Pokemon. I was right. And while I was exploring, I found some bastions. And I'll put in clips of those here in a second. But I found some really crazy stuff, and I will just let you guys see my reaction upon finding them. Regirock? Freaking Cardinal? I found, like I said, the Regice tablet, a Regirock tablet, and a Scarlet Book, which is how you summon Cardinal. So I now, after last episode biffing it, I now have the ability to summon 4 legendary Pokemon. Now, I think this is kind of crazy. I don't have the means to do that. I don't have the Pokeballs, I don't have any of that stuff, but this is really, really crazy. I think what I'm going to do is between this episode and next one, I'm going to farm a whole bunch of Ultra Balls, just so that I can get some good reliable stuff going. And I think I'm also going to make a couple quick balls. Like I said at the end of last episode, I think it makes the most sense just to try at least one quick ball on the legendaries, just so I can, you know, have a better shot of catching them. Because the last thing I want to do is be like, oh my goodness, it's a legendary Pokemon, and then run out of balls and only have quick balls left, so I figure it's worth a shot. I also found, if you look here, some crazy stuff in that bastion. I found an enchanted golden apple, 2 smithing templates, and 5 pieces of netherite scrap, which is just wild to me. I don't know, I feel like, I also got a music disc while exploring, but I don't know, I feel like this is just a really big step in the right direction in terms of progression. And I'm really excited. I'm kind of taken aback, truthfully speaking, about how efficient this was. Now, it has been a couple hours for me, I will be candid, but all in all, I think this has been a really, really good and successful, like, little expedition just to get ghost Pokemon. And speaking of, let's go show you guys what I caught. Alright guys, here we are, back in this spooky little crypt. I'm going to show you guys some of the Pokemon that I caught. I've put all the ghost Pokemon into this little box right here. Where are they? They're just instantly flying off. Hang on here, guys, it's fun. Okay. Well, I would say this is pretty good for now. If there are any improvements that you think I should make beyond this, please let me know, because realistically, it's still kind of bare bones, but I feel like it almost fits the ghost Pokemon theming. So yeah, I also have news, and I'll show you guys that once I get back to the house. Alright, so, while I was doing my expedition, I found some Pokemon beyond just the ghost Pokemon, and of course the legendaries, that I put all of the little summons in that shulker box right there, just so I don't lose them. I also found a Delibird. Oh my goodness, no way. Surely. Oh, that's a critical catch. We did it. We got the Delibird. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so a couple of videos ago we had someone comment, and I'll put it right up here, to ask me to look for a Delibird. And so I did that this episode while exploring. And so if you have a name suggestion for it, please let me know. I will probably give the naming idea priority to the person who asked me to catch the Delibird. So please feel free to leave a comment down below. Yeah, but if there's any other Pokemon that you guys can think of that you'd like me to try and catch, please, I would love to hear suggestions and ideas. While I was exploring the Nether too, I also found a Darmanitan, an Orthworm, and a Alolan Cubone to go with the Marowak. So I'll put these guys over here. I think I'm gonna build another habitat soon. So if there's any Pokemon in particular that you would like me to build a habitat for, let me know, or typings or whatever. So yeah, I think with all that said out of the way, I think that's where we will call it. It's been a pretty eventful episode, all things considered, for what was just meant to be a building episode. Finding 3 legendary Pokemon summons was not in the cards at all, as far as I was aware. But we did, which is ridiculous. I'm really excited and kind of, I don't know, astounded that we were able to find 3, especially a shot again at the Regice after what he did last time. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your days. I'll see you guys next time.